Last week, we heard revised figures for Rhode Island for the jobless rate, the total number of jobless Rhode Islanders, and the all-important labor participation rate. Spoiler alert, they were all revised in the wrong direction. That's right, the official unemployment percentage for the Ocean State that was reported in December was revised in light of new data that's come in. It was reported at an annualized 5.1% rate, but upon sufficient reflection, it now stands at 5.4%. And that might not seem like much to you, but to the nearly 2,000 additional neighbors of ours who are out of work, it is a big deal. What may be a bigger deal is the voodoo economics practiced by the Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training, which stood by the lower numbers as the administration and the General Assembly basked in them during the start of the new legislative session. The March revision of the December numbers meant that the jobless rate for the entire calendar year went back up over the 6% mark. That may be a purely psychological barrier, but psychology plays a central role in the economics of the recovery from a recession. What's worse, the labor participation rate moved downward after DLT's review of the tea leaves. In fact, it's now down to just a fraction over 60% of all able-bodied Rhode Islanders within the age range for full-time employment. Do you think that decline in those even looking for work correlates to an increase in welfare, WIC, EBT, Section 8 housing, and disability claims? You bet it does. So what happens when less than 50% of us are employed? It's nice for the government that it was able to hold its thumb on the scale for long enough that no one but us would be paying attention. Whether or not that subterfuge kept the rabble from being roused is debatable. The real signal in all of this is how critical it is that we get our economy growing again without some recognition on the part of government that it has to trim its sails cost-wise and deliver its services much more effectively. We will not see a reestablishment of conditions here that will let that growth happen. So when you're questioning candidates for the state legislature this fall, be sure to ask them how long they think we can survive with higher and higher welfare bills, but no one to pay them. Of course, they'll solemnly say, that's bad. But will they pledge to make the heavy political lift to really cut back in order to fix it?
Find us on Cox Channel 15 or Verizon Channel 34, Saturdays at 4 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. Find us on the web at www.gaspyproject.com/commonsenseri. You can also find us on Facebook as Common Sense of Rhode Island and on Twitter at &CommonSenseRI.